In today's fiercely competitive marketplace, businesses that fail to deliver exceptional service are destined for irrelevance. According to hotel manager Horst Schulze in Excellence Wins, this is because exceptional service can earn you loyal customers for life, while lackluster service can drive away even your most die-hard fans. To create a culture of exceptional service, Schulze offers a business philosophy and strategies that can help business leaders, entrepreneurs, and anyone else elevate their organization's standards. Schulze is the former president and COO of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel Company. Under his leadership, the Ritz-Carlton became renowned for its unwavering commitment to customer service, winning 2 Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Awards, an award given by the President of the United States to recognize extraordinary work done by public and private organizations. He wrote Excellence Wins in 2019, 18 years after stepping down as leader of the Ritz-Carlton. We'll begin our guide by detailing why focusing on customer service is the surest way to achieve business success. Then, we'll offer practical tips that workers can use to provide the best customer service possible. Last, we'll shift to advice for managers, explaining how to build an organization with world-class customer service. In our commentary, we'll elaborate on how to provide top-notch customer service with tips from books like Superfans and Linchpin. Additionally, we'll supplement Schulze's management advice with ideas from books like When They Win, You Win and The Great Game of Business. Why customer service is important. According to Schulze, any business that wants to be successful must prioritize retaining its existing customers. Loyal customers are valuable. They'll consistently choose your brand over your competitors and recommend it to their friends and family. The key to retaining loyal customers is consistently providing them with a better experience than they can get anywhere else. Learn what they want most from your company, and make it your top priority to give them the best possible version of it. Schulze notes that most businesses don't focus enough on retaining loyal customers. Often, when companies become successful, they start skimping on product quality or service standards to reduce costs. Doing so spoils their core brand experience, causing them to lose their customers' loyalty. Even minor mistakes can drive away loyal customers, contends Schulze. Small oversights or lapses in cleanliness, professionalism, and attention to detail are enough to make customers question a company's overall quality and trustworthiness. For example, if a worker at a restaurant fails to adequately clean the bathrooms, customers may start questioning the restaurant's overall quality standards. Short-form note: why would a successful company start cutting corners on the products or services that first made them successful? According to Jim Collins in How the Mighty Fall, the first phase in a company's decline is overconfidence. If you're a market leader, dominant in your industry, it's easy to assume that everything your company does will automatically work out. Collins argues that to combat overconfidence, companies need to obsess over their flywheel, the few elements of their core business that propel their success. In the service industry, this involves attending to the details that drive a positive customer experience, like cleanliness and professionalism. Don't create loyal customers, create superfans. In Superfans, Pat Flynn argues that companies should do more than just retain loyal customers. They should inspire superfans who integrate the brand into their daily lives and identities. These superfans are not only loyal to your brand and will tell their loved ones about it, as Schulze describes, but they also travel for events related to your brand, buy branded merchandise, stay engaged online, and form communities with other fans. For instance, companies like Apple, Lego, and Harley-Davidson have superfans. To turn regular customers into superfans, you must consistently offer them positive experiences, as Schulze notes. However, Flynn contends that you also need to forge personal connections with your customers. They need to feel seen, heard, and understood by your brand. One way to do this is by making yourself the relatable face of your brand. When you open up about your personal experiences or passions, customers see you as someone they can connect with. In your marketing messages, talk about your favorite hobbies, significant life experiences, or even your daily routines. How to provide exceptional customer service. Now that we've covered why exceptional customer service is so crucial for business success, let's examine some specific tips that all employees can follow to deliver world-class service experiences. Tip number 1. Fulfill basic customer desires. As we've discussed, building customer loyalty is all about going above and beyond to create the ideal customer experience. But how? According to Schulze, there are 3 things that all customers desire, and employees should focus on fulfilling these desires. 1. Customers want your product or service to be free of functional flaws. It should do everything they need it to do. For instance, if you run a massage parlor, your customers should feel completely relaxed and pain-free by the end of their massage. 2. Customers want to be served as quickly as possible. Slow service is enough to ruin a customer's experience, even if it's otherwise positive. 3. Customers want to receive your product or service from someone who seems like they genuinely care about their feelings, argues Schulze. He stresses that this third factor, personal care, often matters most of all in creating customer loyalty. If your employees make the customer feel valued and welcomed, it sets a positive tone that can make up for potential mistakes or flaws. For example, if workers at a hardware store remember a customer's name and the products they usually buy, the customer will have an exceptional experience even if the store doesn't have everything they need in stock. Personal care is a competitive advantage. In Linchpin, Seth Godin explains that in nearly every industry, countless businesses do everything they can to optimize their ability to fulfill the first 2 desires. They want to offer goods and services that meet minimum customer expectations and can be delivered quickly. But market leaders like Amazon and Walmart have built powerful systems capable of satisfying these desires, making it essentially impossible for other businesses to find a competitive advantage by pursuing the same goals. However, Godin asserts that businesses can win customers from these competitors by building emotional relationships with these customers, validating Schulze's opinion that personal care is the most important customer desire. To do this, employees should see their work as a gift, rather than an obligation, by going beyond the minimum of their job description. He also advises that employees commit to being their authentic selves at work. For example, a mechanic at an auto repair shop could go out of their way to educate customers about basic car maintenance instead of just fixing the current issue. If the mechanic showed genuine concern for their customers' ability to affordably maintain their vehicles, the customers would feel grateful and gladly return to that auto repair shop. Tip number 2. Discover your customers' unique desires. Schulze notes that beyond the 3 basic desires, each customer has a unique set of wants and needs. Employees should ask customers what they can do to help, then listen carefully to try and understand what they want, even if the customers struggle to communicate it. Their true desires may not be exactly what they say they are. For example, imagine a customer comes into an electronics store asking about a specific TV model. After talking to them, the employee realizes that what they really want is a large screen with great picture quality for their living room home theater setup. The employee guesses that a projector would better suit their needs and recommends that the customer buy one of those instead. To please your average customer as much as possible, you'll have to conduct research. Schulze advises gathering extensive customer feedback through recurring surveys. Then, use this data to tailor your product or service accordingly. Discover customers' desires by asking them about their lives. In the mom test, Rob Fitzpatrick also contends that consumers typically can't articulate what they desire from your business. He elaborates that this is because they aren't aware of what they truly want. Furthermore, he warns that if you try to uncover a customer's desires through conversation, they may lie to you to spare your feelings. For instance, if a server asks a customer at a restaurant how their food is, they may say it's delicious to avoid making a fuss, then never return to the restaurant because they received overcooked chicken. For this reason, instead of directly asking customers what they want, ask them about their daily lives. Learn everything you can about their goals, the problems they face, and how they currently try to solve them. This way, you can tailor your business to help them get what they want most. While Schulze suggests conducting formal research through surveys, Fitzpatrick contends that informal conversations with customers or potential customers can give you everything you need to know. Keep in mind that Fitzpatrick wrote this advice for people researching their customers' desires while designing their service, rather than those who are fine-tuning their service in the middle of a customer interaction, as Schulze describes. While serving a customer, it may do more harm than good to spend time questioning them about their life when there's something they want immediately. Tip number 3. Earn trust by handling complaints well. Schulze views customer complaints as opportunities to build loyalty and trust. When you successfully resolve an issue and demonstrate a commitment to customer satisfaction, you can transform a customer's negative experience into a positive one. This can result in stronger customer loyalty than if the problem had never occurred. Short-form note. Some research supports Schulze's assertion that resolving a customer's complaint can make them more loyal than if their experience was flawless, at least in the hotel business. Researchers at Marriott found that when their guests had no issues with their stay, 89% said they would return to Marriott. When guests had issues that the hotel fixed, 94% said they would return. Schulze says that when a customer has a complaint about your product or service, what they want more than anything else is to see that your company cares about the problems they're facing. Employees should actively listen to the customer's complaint and validate their emotions. Conversely, they should avoid using dismissive body language, speaking in an unsympathetic tone of voice, or downplaying the issue. Short-form note. In Rework, Jason Fried and David Heinemeier Hansen elaborate on how to offer customers a genuine apology when your service is flawed. Don't be overly formal when apologizing. Say, "I'm sorry," rather than something like, "I apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused you." An overly formal tone makes it sound like your apology is an obligation and you don't really care about their problem. Additionally, the word "may" implies that you doubt that there really was an inconvenience, and customers may interpret it as you invalidating their problem and feelings. On a broader scale, Schulze notes that employees should analyze customer problems to uncover their true, often multi-layered root causes, even if the initial cause seems obvious on the surface. For example, imagine a restaurant customer complains that their food took too long to arrive. Instead of just blaming the cooks for taking too long, employees should investigate deeper. Was it an issue with the kitchen being understaffed or undertrained? Or, perhaps the kitchen is organized in a suboptimal way, forcing the cooks to spend time moving from station to station? Short-form note. In Upstream, Dan Heath explains that many workers fail to resolve the root causes of their problems because immediate, shallow solutions are more tangible. They pay off immediately, as opposed to an investigation into root causes that might uncover more ambiguous causes that are more difficult or time-consuming to resolve. Additionally, when problems exist for long enough, workers typically get used to the situation and forget that they can try to fix it. How to build an exceptional organization. Going above and beyond in fulfilling customer desires is vital for any organization striving to provide exceptional service. But savvy leadership also plays a key role in steering the company in a positive direction. Here are some strategies managers and executives can use to build an organization fully committed to delighting customers. Strategy number 1. Motivate your team. Schulze believes that too many managers view their employees as reluctant workers who need to be pushed or coerced into action. Instead, he argues that leaders get better results if they inspire their employees to want to work hard and provide high-quality service. It's possible to motivate employees to achieve company goals because humans have an innate desire for purpose and meaningful relationships, according to Schulze. The opportunity to provide world-class service to customers is a chance for them to attain both of these desires. Employees feel like they're accomplishing a worthy purpose by working at an elite level, and they build meaningful relationships by working together and serving customers. Short-form note. In the Leadership Challenge, James Kouzes and Barry Posner elaborate that leaders can further motivate their workers by giving them opportunities to actively shape the company's purpose. For instance, survey your employees about the greater purpose they want to accomplish with their work and adjust your company strategy based on their feedback. Likewise, leaders can encourage their workers to build meaningful relationships by frequently gathering them to celebrate each other's accomplishments. Research shows that group celebrations strengthen bonds between coworkers and make them feel like a community. Schulze argues that to effectively motivate your employees, you need to do two things. Grant them the authority to improve the business and establish a clear vision. Action number 1. Grant employees authority to improve the business. First, Schulze states that if you want motivated employees, they need to feel like they have the authority to personally improve the business on a daily basis. Managers don't always give this authority to their employees. Often, employees are told they have to follow strict operational procedures or pass problems off to a manager rather than creatively solving problems themselves. In contrast, Schulze gives every one of his employees at the Ritz-Carlton permission to spend up to $2,000 in any way that keeps a hotel guest satisfied with their experience, without pre-approval of any kind. Short-form note: $2,000 may seem like an unreasonably high amount of money for employees to spend to fix a single issue. However, experts explain that the average Ritz-Carlton customer is projected to spend $250,000 at Ritz-Carlton hotels over the course of their lifetime, so if a $2,000 investment can preserve a customer relationship, it pays off in the long run. Giving employees this authority is inherently motivating, says Schulze. When workers feel like management respects and trusts them to judge how best to serve the customer, they'll want to work hard to live up to their manager's expectations. Schulze argues that giving all employees authority is particularly effective because frontline workers have the best vantage point to identify problems and solutions. They're closer to the customers than managers or owners, so they often have a better sense of how to improve the customer experience. If every employee is obligated to fix every flaw with your business or customer problem they encounter, even if it's technically outside of their job description, your business will, over time, offer an increasingly high-quality customer experience. For example, a janitor in a dentist's office might notice that the waiting area magazines are outdated and worn. If given authority, the janitor could remove the old magazines and buy new, fresh reading options to make the waiting area more inviting for customers. Build a culture of trust. According to Charles Duhigg in Smarter, Better, Faster, the idea that frontline employees should be given the authority to solve problems they encounter is a core tenet of a management philosophy called lean manufacturing, which was developed at Toyota. Like Schulze, Duhigg contends that workers need to feel like management trusts and respects them before they take the initiative to improve the business. Furthermore, Duhigg warns that if workers don't feel like management trusts and respects them, they'll be too afraid of making mistakes and being punished for them to use the authority they have. For this reason, Duhigg argues that before workers can proactively solve problems for the business, managers must create a commitment culture, a workplace environment where managers are genuinely invested in their employees' success and will support them even if they make mistakes. To do this, Duhigg recommends investing in long-term employee training, providing generous benefits, and reserving layoffs as a last resort. Action number 2. Establish a clear vision. Schulze contends that if you want to motivate your team, you must set a clear and worthy vision for what you want to accomplish. This vision will be a more effective motivator if it primarily benefits other people rather than just yourself. By accomplishing it, you become a force for good in the world. Additionally, if you want your business to be profitable, part of your vision should involve providing your customers with the best possible experience, as we've discussed. This vision is the purpose that your employees naturally crave. Even if it's challenging, employees ultimately want to work toward an inspiring vision because it allows them to feel pride and gain admiration for their achievements. Schulze argues that a clear vision also helps you maintain your priorities during challenging times. When you're forced into difficult lose-lose situations, the vision serves as a compass, revealing what decisions best align with the organization's core purpose. For example, say a software company is debating whether to eliminate some advanced features from the new version of their flagship product to meet a deadline. However, their core vision is to provide customers with the most innovative and capable software solutions on the market. Staying true to that vision leads them to keep developing the advanced features, even if it forces them to delay their launch. Ultimately, this is what's best for their customers. Your vision should be unattainable and resilient. In The Infinite Game, Simon Sinek elaborates that your vision for the good you want to accomplish in the world should be ultimately unattainable. A vision that could theoretically be permanently solved once you reach a certain milestone wouldn't be ambitious enough to inspire passion and purpose in your team. For example, if you run a financial advisory firm, you could make it your vision to empower every individual to achieve the financial security they need to achieve their dreams. Moreover, While Schulze asserts your vision should be something that helps you maintain your organization's core priorities during challenging times, Sinek takes this further. He contends the vision you choose must be resilient enough to endure massive changes and challenges to your industry that force you to transform your services and products. For example, imagine if a company that provides art therapy for people with mental disorders could no longer conduct in-person sessions during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Guided by their vision, use creativity and self-expression to help heal everyone who needs it, they might have pivoted and developed an online art therapy platform with virtual courses, activities, and a supportive community. Strategy number 2. Reinforce a purpose-driven culture. We've discussed 2 requirements that you need to motivate your employees. Next, to put these motivating forces into action, Schulze contends that you need to establish a purpose-driven culture. To do this, condense your vision into a concise vision statement that's easy to remember. Then, weave this vision statement into your communication at work as much as you can, in meetings as well as in personal conversations. In doing so, you ingrain the vision statement in your organization's culture, nudging employees to think more about how to align their work with the vision. For example, imagine you manage an art gallery and have developed the vision statement, "We want to build connections in our community through art." Mentioning this vision statement to your marketing coordinator may encourage them to spend less time building an online presence for the gallery and more time organizing local events. Short-form note. In Leading Change, John P. Cotter contends that when you write a vision statement, you must strike a balance. If it's too vague, employees won't know how to implement it in their daily work. If it's too specific, it might restrict employees' autonomy, preventing them from doing their best work. For instance, the art gallery we mentioned before wouldn't want their vision statement to be "Spread Art," too vague, or "Hold art shows every other Thursday," too specific. Additionally, don't just keep repeating the vision statement at employees. Give them the opportunity to criticize it. Even if you don't change your vision, employees are more likely to commit to it if they feel you've heard and understood their concerns. Schulze recommends reinforcing your purpose-driven culture in 2 types of meetings: first-time employee orientation meetings and daily refresher meetings. First-time employee orientation. According to Schulze, an employee's first day is a valuable opportunity to instill the company's vision. When someone starts a new job, this big, emotional life change tends to open their mind to fresh perspectives and behaviors. During this time, new employees will more readily embrace your organization's purpose-driven culture. Short-form note. The Bridges Transition Model is a framework for understanding change that divides significant transitions into 3 stages. Endings, where you come to terms with what you're losing. The neutral zone, where you're surrounded by unknowns and must discover how to establish something new. And new beginnings, where you fully embrace a new state of being. Identifying which of these stages a new employee is in may reveal how to best guide them as they adjust to your organization's culture. For instance, if a new employee is still in stage 1, mourning the loss of their previous job, you may need to give them time to reflect on the good things they've left behind instead of demanding that they immediately adapt. Schulze explains that he begins his first-time employee orientations by asserting that no individual, including himself, is superior to others. Every employee is equally important in contributing to the company's success. Then, he unpacks the company's vision statement, explaining it in detail to help employees understand what they're working toward and why their efforts matter. He also establishes the basics of customer service that we discussed in the first section of this guide. Why employees should prioritize customer service above all else, the desires that all customers have, and so on. Finally, Schulze helps employees set goals and learn the specifics of how to do their jobs. Counterpoint. Orientation should focus on concrete financial information. Schulze contends that employee orientation should focus on instilling a specific business philosophy, including the company's vision and the general principles of what makes customer service valuable. In contrast, Jack Stack and Bo Burlingame argue in The Great Game of Business that orientation should emphasize more nitty-gritty aspects of the business's strategy. In particular, they recommend educating employees in detail about the company's financial health. Employees should understand how to read and influence the company's balance sheets and income statements to effectively take ownership and help the business succeed. Once employees see how their jobs influence the business's financials, they can continuously adjust their processes at work to increase profits. Whereas Schulze recommends helping new employees set goals at orientation, providing financial transparency will help employees update their goals after orientation, based on the company's changing financial situation. Furthermore, this financial transparency may be a more effective way of convincing employees that their managers don't see themselves as superior to them. Sharing financial information implies that you believe employees can productively contribute to company strategy, whereas hiding financial information implies that employees aren't skilled enough to use it effectively. Daily refresher meetings. Schulze argues that one-time orientations or training sessions are insufficient for employees to retain the principles of your organizational culture and consistently deliver the desired level of service. Even if you give a very inspiring orientation presentation, employees will forget most of what you talked about if you don't regularly reinforce these ideas. Short-form note. One way organizational leaders can regularly reinforce company culture is by modeling that culture through their behavior. For instance, say that an organization values open communication. Its managers can reinforce this value long after orientation by communicating feedback in a clear, honest way and by welcoming employees' constructive criticism. To help workers internalize the principles of a purpose-driven culture, Schulze advocates for a brief team meeting at the start of every employee shift. During this meeting, a team leader explains a single principle of your company's guiding philosophy and allows their team to discuss it. Schulze created a list of 24 principles for teams to review over the course of 24 days that detail exactly how employees in his hotels should work. For instance, one principle states that every employee is responsible for fixing the flaws with the business they identify on the job, as we discussed earlier. Short-form note. If you're already meeting with your team to review one of your organization's cultural principles every day, it may be productive to add a few strategy-focused items to your agenda to help team members coordinate their work. In Mastering the Rockefeller Habits, Vern Harnish recommends conducting daily meetings where every team member quickly sums up what they're doing today. The team reviews how well the company as a whole is performing, and anyone facing an obstacle in their work announces it so the rest of the team can try to resolve it. Strategy number 3. Measure your progress toward success. Schulze contends that, in addition to motivating your team and reinforcing a purpose-driven culture to sustain that motivation, leaders need to continually measure their progress toward success and adjust their strategies accordingly. Rigorous, ongoing measurement helps leaders identify areas in which they think the business is performing well but it isn't. These blind spots can easily arise if leaders assess their business using anecdotal evidence or gut feelings alone. Instead, if they consistently measure the right evidence, identify issues, and adjust their processes in response, companies can continually elevate the quality of their products or services. Short-form note. In The Lean Startup, Eric Ries warns that some types of rigorous measurement can create blind spots. They might conceal how your business is really performing. Vanity metrics are ones that sound nice when you track them but don't accurately reflect your business's health. Focusing too much on vanity metrics may prevent you from identifying issues and adjusting your processes accordingly, causing deadly flaws to stay hidden until it's too late. For example, a social media company might track its total number of users, even if many of those accounts are inactive or rarely used. This could obscure the fact that user engagement and retention are declining. Schulze recommends measuring 3 vital metrics in particular. Metric number 1. Customer satisfaction and loyalty. First, Schulze recommends measuring customer satisfaction and loyalty. After serving customers, survey them to discover whether they'd want to buy from you again and whether they'd recommend your product or service to someone else. This provides clear data on whether customers are truly having a positive experience that will lead to more business. Short-form note. Some experts argue that customer satisfaction is an overrated metric for businesses trying to maximize loyalty. One study of 75,000 customers found that people who were immensely satisfied with a customer service experience were only slightly more loyal than if the company had just met their basic needs. Instead of aiming to maximize customer satisfaction, consider reducing the effort customers must exert to resolve issues they have with your product or service. For instance, Give customer service reps the authority to fix problems rather than forcing them to transfer customers to another department. Metric number 2. Employee satisfaction. Second, measure your employees' job satisfaction. According to Schulze, every dip in employee satisfaction signals a greater likelihood of employee turnover, which loses you valuable expertise and forces you to spend on replacements. Staying up to date on how engaged and motivated your employees feel will show you when you must take action to keep them satisfied. Short-form note: what can you do to increase your employees' job satisfaction and minimize the risk of turnover? In When They Win, You Win, Russ Laraway contends that employees are happier and more engaged with managers actively coaching them. Although coaching does involve correcting workers' mistakes, Laraway notes that the majority of feedback should be encouragement and praise for what employees are doing well. This frequent recognition helps employees feel valued, helping them better enjoy their jobs. Metric number 3. Lead measures. Third, measure lead measures. Metrics that accurately predict your business's future performance. Schulze contends that studying these metrics allows the company to be proactive rather than reactive to worrisome patterns before they become larger problems that impact the core business. For example, if you run a barber shop, one of your lead measures might be the number of fully booked in advance days on your calendar. If you notice that you have far fewer reservations than usual, you could respond by increasing your social media presence before taking a major financial hit. Short-form note: in the 4 disciplines of execution, Chris McChesney, Jim Hewling, and Sean Covey explain that the opposite of lead measures are lag measures, metrics that indicate your success but don't directly influence your future performance. Although lag measures indicate whether you ultimately succeed or fail, you can't influence them directly. You can only increase them by working to increase your lead measures. For instance, the revenue your website generates on a given day is a lag measure. To increase this lag measure, you can focus on lead measures like the percentage of users who click on your advertisements or your ranking in search engine results.